The Atlanta Story is a podcast highlighting Atlanta's most interesting creators, entrepreneurs, and builders. I'm Jon Birdsong with Atlanta Ventures, and in today's episode, we have Derrick Hayes of Big Dave's Cheesesteaks. Derrick named his growing cheesesteak company in honor of his late father. 6 years ago, Derrick opened up his first shop outside of a gas station in Dunwoody, Georgia. Today, he has a line out the door at his downtown location and is soon opening and expanding in Chamblee. We also talk about how he's delivering food to frontline healthcare workers during the coronavirus, why Big Dave's is the land of second opportunities for team members, and how a small world connection to Eve put his name and brand on the social media map. After listening to today's podcast, we're confident you'll be inspired to follow your heart. We hope you enjoy the show and subscribe to the Atlanta Story. Welcome everyone to the Atlanta Story. Today we have a special guest, Derrick Hayes of Big Dave's Cheesesteak. Derrick, welcome to the Atlanta Story.
How you doing, man? Appreciate you for having me today.
Absolutely. You know, I've been a big fan of Big Dave's for years. You know, we were talking about beforehand how we met years ago, right before you started even Big Dave's. At the car wash off 14th Street, and I saw the desire to build something great in you even before the first restaurant. And fast forward 6 years later, you're well on your way. We got so much to talk about today, and so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day because I know you've been very busy. Before we get into the fundamentals of Big Dave's, I definitely want to talk about the coronavirus, the response. You know, y'all have been, you see it on your Instagram nearly every day, taking, your food to Emory, Maine, Grady, the VA, Piedmont. I mean, y'all have been extra busy over the past 2 weeks. Talk to us about what you guys have been doing for the past 2 weeks, past month to combat this coronavirus.
Yeah, so, what we decided to do, we did a community give back before we started doing the first responders to the community. And there was a lot of people that come out, that we helped out. So our first hospital that we decided to do, I personally myself looked in the eyes of the nurses and realized that they really need help. Somebody needs to be helping them with anything that they could possibly help with. So I decided to start like a little hospital tour, going to each and every hospital I could make it to and feeding them every day. And there was no publicity. I did it out of kindness of my heart because I've really seen how hard, the front line, what they're going through right now. It's really a big problem. And I really salute them a whole lot because they're the heroes in all of this. Yeah, absolutely. And, you've decided to Is there any method to which hospitals you decide on, or is it kind of just going down the line? And sometimes I'll go off of who might Instagram message me, or I'll see a lot of people write in the comments, come to this hospital, or we might decide to just do a pop up and don't tell anybody and just donate it, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to donate and help. We're just trying to help the community out. So as long as we're helping, we feel like that, we're making some type of something accomplished through this mission. Because, like I said, it's been numerous people to ask, to help us fund, the situation. But like I said, God has blessed Big Dave Cheesesteaks to where as though, we have the financial gain to be able to, walk through this and keep our employees, and that's been the biggest blessing of all of it, being able to keep all my employees and being able to give back, help the community out at, what we're going through right now, because the world never seen this before. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, major kudos to you and the team for every day. It seems like there's just, dozens of cheesesteaks going to the front line.
Right now, so we're doing it Monday through Friday. We do 1 or 2 hospitals a day, depending on, sometimes if the hospital is a really big hospital, we'll just do a really big order to that hospital. But, right now, later in the week, we're working on the fire departments, the police stations, We maybe even possibly hitting some prisons, giving some masks out in the near future. So we're actually, we're seeing, how much our help is needed. Just if it's not big help, sometimes small help is better than anything. So we know we're not a big corporation yet, but we're trying our best to help out the best way that we can for our first responders.
Yep. Incredibly admirable. And you touched on, a lot of restaurants, and we talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and each business is affected at different levels. How have y'all been able to maintain all the team members? It seems like Big Dave's is at least downtown is still open right now, and people are waiting outside the front door. How have y'all been able to stay open?
Honestly, this business has proven what I felt in my heart all these years is warrior business. I mean, God is standing with us. Right now, we are, of course, everyone is affected by this, but we aren't taking a big hit right now.
Yep. So
it's actually amazing right now that I could look at my employees and say, I don't have to let you go. We just keep on working, keep on putting out the hard work efforts that we do, and just try to keep the ball rolling. Now, I will say this, every day is a different task because you don't know what the government is going to issue out. They may, you never know when they're going to shut you down or if this thing's getting any better. So it is, kind of scary, but I keep it real with all my employees, and we're pretty much like a family. So we got a tight foundation to where though I got their back. As long as they work in Big Dave's, I got their back much as I can.
Yep. I want to get into the culture of Big Dave's, the hiring process. But before we do that, walk us through how you came to building a Philly cheesesteak franchise. And I know the vision's a big empire, but walk us through the decision of day one, I'm going to go build a Philly cheesesteak business.
So this is how the story actually happened. So my father passed away from lung cancer in 2009. I promised him that I would get my life, on the right path and start doing the right things I need to do to be able to, provide for myself and make, my family's, help people out with my family. So I decided when I moved to Georgia to open a restaurant, which wasn't a restaurant at first, it was just Italian ice, which is water ice, we call it in Philadelphia. And I had this dream, of opening this location, but I couldn't get anybody to lease me a space because I had no business experience. So what I wound up doing was going on LoopNet myself. And I reached out to a restaurant broker who found me 5020 Winters Chapel Road, was in the middle of nowhere in Dunwoody. And the guy that rented me the space, that gave me my chance, Mike, he literally looked at me in my face, and I guess he seen how bad I wanted it and took the chance with me. But I actually, as soon as I got to the point opening the business up, contractor I dealt with, he was shady. Now out of this money that I came down here with to build, start my life over, I pretty much ran through all of that with wrong decision making, me not being mature enough, with the moves I was making as a young man. So when I got to my last and I had a newborn baby, and I said to myself, it's a wake up call. I got to do something. I can't go back to where I came from. I came from a very rough place.
Was the newborn the trigger that really said, all right, I've got to change my life decisions?
Yeah. My firstborn, Dallas, she actually is like my angel. She is my life savior because I was definitely on my way to blowing everything that I actually had and what I went through to get, so I really started to, take my life more serious. And once I got taken advantage of with the contractor and stuff like that, I started to really look in, to more of what I was doing and learning my business more so nobody can take advantage of me. But it's a non-stop grind.
And so the Dunwoody location or the Chamblee location, that was just pure hustle and kind of luck it could have been anywhere, right?
Yeah, this is the thing. So I will, if anybody watching, I will say this. You don't need people to believe in your dream. You need to believe in your dream. Everybody else will believe in your dream once your dream is proven. Yep. And that's what people don't realize. They get, they feel some type of way or get upset when they feel like nobody don't jump to their dream the way they jump to their dream. It's called a dream because it's your dream. So once you realize your dream and your passion is what you're supposed to be doing in life, you don't need applause to make your dream work. You just need consistency. When people see consistency, they'll see that you're serious about your dream and they'll give you a chance to support your dream. And that's what happened with me.
So what's an example of the consistency that you provided to, the building owner where he believed, all right, I'm gonna go out on a limb and really believe in Derrick of Big Dave's?
I think I just was, straightforward with him, just telling him, I really, I don't have a lot of business experience. I told him, I came from West Philadelphia. It's a very rough place. My city has gave me all my grind and my hunger because of how I grew up. So I'm a hustler by nature. So I knew I can actually make this work. Now jumping in the business world where you didn't go to school and all that for business, so it's a little bit more difficult. You trying to learn it, so you actually wasting money, spending money. So it's actually like I taught myself through college myself. Now, on the other side of it is the respect you want from the people, basically the high ups that actually have this business degrees and stuff like that. But I learned over the maybe 4 or 5 years or so that it doesn't matter how many degrees you have, because right now we're in a pandemic right now, which we're probably in the recession. The world's right now is going the wrong way, but right now I'm still putting out a big number at Big Dave Cheesesteaks. Because people believe in my dream, they believe in my passion, they know I'm for the people. Anybody that know me know I've never been selfish in my life. So I'm for the people. I got more mature, with my life as I got older in this. I see that Big Dave's is bigger than me because there's a lot of second chance people out here that, made mistakes early on in their life that's watching me right now. So I make sure that I try to put out the best, work ethics I can so that they can have motivation in themselves to be able to prosper in their lives as well. Yep. So
I on your website, you talk about one of the missions is to fulfill, your father's legacy with people that have passed in my life where, I think about them daily, weekly. What are some of the values that you bring to Big Dave's, knowing that the restaurant is named after him? What are some of the values and the cultural values that every day are tied between your father and Big Dave's?
So honestly, I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people on the daily, they ask me, who is Big Dave? Are you a Big Dave? So basically for me, Big Dave's has became like beyond something that I could imagine of, because when I lost my father, it's, of course, I think about him every day and it's very hard. But when they say the Big Dave name, it's like my dad's alive again. It's like I'm keeping his name alive. So no matter how hard this business, it got or getting, I really try my best to honor his name the right way because I know that, the type of person he was and the type of respect that I want to, to honor him with. So I work like very, very hard. Now I will say this, it's a lot of years I didn't give up because of my father, because that last conversation, like I was really blessed to have one more conversation with him before he passed away. And I can still remember the tear rolling down his face and telling me that he raised me to stand on my own 2 feet and I'm going to be okay. So every time I got in a rough spot, I just remember, all his words that we talked about. And I know how I was brought up, my grandfather raised me in the kitchen. That's how I learned how to cook. So I put it to you this way. My grandmother used to always tell me, as long as you learn how to clean, cook, and keep your house clean and your clothes clean, you pretty much can survive in this world. A woman just gonna be a plus. And but see, I know how to do everything. I'm 32 years old, but I literally can do everything to take care of myself. And that's the way I'm gonna raise my kids. So I feel like that's what the American dream, was really about.
So let's go back to the Dorville location. You got the, you put the sign up and you built out the restaurant. How did you know, A, people would come, and B, that this was going to be a success?
Well, let me tell you. So I actually took the last $200,000 I had, so I invested in this gas station that I had, this restaurant, and I believe when I opened up, I think I had about $1,500 for food, to get it, to stock the place up. I sat in there every day, and I probably seen one or maybe two people, then start seeing maybe five people. But long story short, Eve, she's from my city. She was shooting barbershop, and a friend of mine knew her. And
Barbershop, the movie?
Yes, Barbershop, the movie. Yep. So I remember one day I waited out there. They said she was coming, and I sat out there on a little bench like a little kid on Christmas waiting for a toy. And she didn't show up that day. So I said, damn, what I'm going to do? It's getting rough. I ain't making no money. I invested this money thinking the money just going to pour in. And then the following day she came. But what she said was, when she walked in, she said, if this is not a real cheesesteak, I ain't posting it. So it was like this. I said to myself, at that time, I hit rock bottom. I had everything to gain. I had everything to gain because I already had lost. So I made that cheesesteak like my life depended on it. She put it on every social network she had. And I ain't looked back since. It went from feeding high, celebrities, and it went from getting a bunch of traffic. It went from making blogs, just the hard work of the grind and never giving up.
Yep. So that was a critical moment in terms of getting the exposure out.
Oh, I think that was, if I had to name the top 5 moments of Dave, that would be one of the biggest moments and that happened because she got my ball rolling.
Because I remember when we were at the car wash before you even started, you probably had, like 1,500 followers on Instagram. And now fast forward today, you've got, nearly 200,000 followers on Instagram, 51,000 likes on Facebook. How does someone build that social media presence? I mean, there are restaurant owners across the world that want to know what is the magic sauce to build something like that.
You know what I tell them? Because they ask me this daily. God, you got to, because this is the thing. I feel like this. People do stuff for people to applaud them, and there's people that do stuff from the kindness in their heart. I feel like when you're a kindness in the heart type of person, I feel like that's when the blessings come to you. Like, right now I'm doing this hospital give back. And so many people, they say that daily, you be blessed, you be blessed. I'm not doing this for a blessing. I'm doing this because I want to help people. The blessing come, God give me the blessing for it, and so be it, But I'm doing this out of kindness of my heart. And I feel like when people are straightforward like that, you get farther with whatever you're doing it, like whether it's restaurants or whether you got a mechanic shop, a barber shop, hair salon, whatever you choose to do when people really know you, the type of person you are. Because I own a restaurant, but sometimes, a customer might come and, we make mistakes. We have a high volume restaurant, and sometimes they're like, oh, my sandwich was better last time. But why they going to come back? Because they know me. They know me, the relationship of what type of person I am, knowing what I represent. When people think that you're just a shyster just to make money, that's when people run into, oh, what I got to do to succeed. I won't take shortcuts to success. And that's just what it is. So I think that's what makes it genuine.
So let's talk about the art of making a good cheesesteak.
Oh man. Okay, so I'll tell you. So basically, for me, I grew up in Philadelphia, so that's the number one stand. I feel like gotta be from Philly.
I know there's in the downtown location. There's too much Eagles paraphernalia everywhere. Yeah, we gotta get the Falcons in there.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta represent my city. At the end of the day, I still gotta put on for Philly. Even though I tell people, Philly raised me, but Atlanta made me a man. So I still gotta represent my hometown, even though I love Atlanta.
I understand the loyalty, but
I was gonna say, so basically, yeah, I feel like you got to be from Philly and understand the actual, the nature and the concept of and history of the cheesesteak. Then this is one of the biggest parts, the Amoroso roll, the actual bread that we use at home. And the biggest part is the season I created. It's just addiction. So it's like, for me, Philly got his way how they make their cheesesteaks. I make it my own way. We make it, don't get me wrong, the cheesesteak is set up the same, but I set my cheese up differently. They don't melt their cheese on the grill. I melt my cheese on the grill. A lot of places don't because it's more of a cleanup, but it's a better tasting sandwich, and it's proven. Because right now I got people on the daily saying that my sandwich is better than home. So, and I believe that.
And we're going to take a quick break here and share that this podcast is brought to you by Atlanta Ventures. If you are looking to start the next $300 million business out of Atlanta, check out the studio at atlantaventures.com. Well, when you started Big Dave's, did you look at all the other, Philly cheesesteak restaurants in Atlanta and realize that, hey, now's a good time to start this? Or was it kind of more like, I'm doing this, it doesn't matter anything else?
Well, honestly, I'm going to tell you exactly, for me, I started with the water ice, the Italian ice. And I remember the conversation I had with my mom, and I said, Mom, I'm getting low. I said, my funds getting low, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And she said, well, because I told her about the kitchen. I was thinking about, putting the kitchen in there with the last money I had. And she said, I think you should go all out for it. I mean, your grandfather taught you how to cook. And my grandfather actually gave me some good pointers before he left this world. And I used that, and I wound up hiring some cooks, and it wasn't running the way I wanted to run. Just people, it wasn't just something that I was saying that I thought was authentic enough.
Yep.
So I decided, my grandfather, he was bad on emphysema, and he was at home hospice. So I started to work at the restaurant, and then I would have him at night, take care of him at nighttime at Athens, and it was burning me out. So I decided just to shut the restaurant down for a couple of weeks. Well, fortunately, my grandfather passed away a little while, after I shut it down. And when I got back, I just was so motivated to just win for everybody. I was just so hungry to win for my family. So I came in there and I just said, you know what? I'm going to use everybody's seasoning that I like, and I'm going to try to blend it and see how it tastes. And damn if it didn't come out good enough that I made Big Dave's off of it.
Yeah. You've seemed to follow your gut and your instinct several times.
Nobody, I won't. And then, that's how I got here, because so many people look at me sometimes like, oh, my thought process might be crazy, or you're a big dreamer. Well, I'm making this dream happen. So there's nothing to make you a big dreamer if you don't put the work behind it. If you got somebody telling you they're going to bust their tail and work the hardest they need to work to make their dream happen on an everyday basis, it's going to happen. That's like I tell people, that's like somebody that don't play basketball. He shoot a jump shot every day. One day that jump shot going to go in. That's all you need in life is one chance. One chance to make everything right, and you're going to blow up. And that's all I knew. I said, all I need is my one chance.
And that was personified through, Eve's. I mean, that was a great example, right?
Yeah. And honestly, through the, I would give Lou Williams a lot of credit. He was the first person to give me my outside event. I've been doing the annual Louisville cookouts now every year. I was on my way to do number 3 before COVID-19 happened. I fed a lot of entertainers. I fed a lot of basketball players, NFL players. Everybody just been. I had one of the Migos, Offset. Tell the world that his favorite food is in Atlanta. So there's a lot of stuff that Big Dave's has did over the last 4 or 5 years. That got a lot of attention from people. And I solely feel this way also. There's a lot of people that's watching it. And, I feel like some people don't want to give me my crown, or give me the spotlight that it deserves. But one thing about that is when it's your time, and nobody can stop that.
Yep. Yep.
Right now, we pressed out about over 3,000 egg rolls. It ain't on CNN. It ain't on none of that.
So I wanted to talk about the egg rolls. I want to talk about a little bit more of the menu. So let's talk about the egg rolls decision, because it sounds like it's one of the hottest sellers.
Yeah.
And you can't find that at every Philly cheesesteak shop.
No. So let me just give you a little insight on the egg roll. So in Philadelphia, pretty much almost every Chinese store on the corner in Philadelphia sells some type of cheesesteak egg roll their way. What I wanted to do, my vision was, once I put the cheesesteaks in with the water ice, I said, well, wait a minute. I could be the first person to put the whole Philly in one restaurant and make it work, because nobody ever did that. Put pretzels, water ice, cheesesteaks, and now cheesesteak egg rolls in one place. So that's what, pushed me towards the cheesesteak egg roll. And it wound up being a big hit because the wrapper is 100% homemade. It's not something we buy from, Cisco or US Foods. It's actually a factory we go to and we pick up the egg roll wrappers. And also is the way we process the whole egg roll. So it made it special. And we actually do beef, chicken, and now salmon. And the salmon ones is really flying off the shelves right now.
Yeah. So is that a Philly thing? I mean, is the salmon cheesesteak that's got to be, I've never even heard of that,
Yeah, so basically the salmon cheesesteak, shout out to Uzi. So Lil Uzi, the salmon egg roll came from Uzi. So basically, I used to come to the studio. A lot of my buddies are, entertainment business. And he didn't eat meat. So we came up with a way where we put fish in it, so we decided to use salmon. Because in Philly, there's some cheesesteak spots that sell salmon cheesesteak. So I said, I'm going to do a salmon egg roll. So when he ate the salmon egg roll, he liked it a lot. I couldn't sell him in a gas station because I didn't have enough fryer. So when I got downtown, they gave me the opportunity to be able to, start selling the salmon egg rolls. And now I know for a fact that we sell more fish than probably half of the seafood restaurants in Atlanta right now, if not all of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your decision to put a restaurant downtown, right? You go from Doraville, Chamblee to downtown.
Dunwoody to Doraville, and then down. So downtown right now. So how I ended up downtown, a realtor of good friends of mine, she found it. It was a location that I didn't think they were going to let me in because of the volume of traffic. But I knew it was something that I could bring to the city, that they needed. Like schools right there. So it would be a really big attraction, for everybody, to have somewhere to watch a basketball game or a football game, to eat some good food. Maybe, guy come here, you want to drink a beer with his family, or something like that. That's what I was trying to create, the American dream type of environment. So when I got my chance to actually, talk to them, and really, tell them how, what I wanted to do, they was all for it. Shout out to the Healyville, the Homeowner Association too, because I know it's not easy dealing with me with all the traffic.
And before it was was it a suit shop before?
Yeah, it was a clothing store. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
clothing store.
I knocked the wall out. I took 2 suites. So basically, I took, it was like a bi-level type of suit place. And I needed more space, so I knocked the wall out and took both spaces. So it's been really good so far.
Yeah, I was about to say. So how has that decision? When you look at it from a decision around like, oh, there's not that many people downtown. After 7 o'clock, it's dead. But you said, well, that's a huge area of opportunity that we can put the light down there, and we can put. Talk to us about how it's worked out.
Well, I think like this. Sometimes you're gonna have stuff that's just special, and I feel like that's what Big Dave's is. Like, it don't matter. I feel like it don't matter where I pick this restaurant in the country right now. People are gonna come. We don't depend on downtown. That's why we're surviving right now, because the people who come from all over the city, all over the state. We most complaining we get more so is nowhere to park. So yeah. That's why Doraville, when we get Doraville open, it's going to be, a lot of parking. It's a big parking lot. But right now, we just blessed, man. Honestly, we just really blessed. And I thank God for everything's doing for me, because honestly, through this pandemic, the only thing that we're witnessing is watching, people lose their lives, and the nurses, what they're going through and all the hardships. But when it comes to the day-to-day operations of Big Dave's, I feel like the people are helping us stay steady, and I appreciate them for that.
Absolutely. So Dunwoody gas station, you've got downtown, and Doraville's opening. Can you give us a date? Or I know on Instagram you said
COVID-19 kind of slowed things up, but I will say this: if we get back to some type of regular life, I'll try to get it open before the summer over with.
Yep.
So that's it would probably be more so late August, early September now.
Talk to us about the big vision of Big Dave's. I saw that you're doing franchising. That's obviously a very deliberate decision. So anyone can now start a Big Dave's.
Yeah.
Assuming it has your blessing.
Yeah. So if they meet the qualifications, let me just say this, because a lot of places look just to say, oh, are you financially stable? For me, I need to know if you're stable as a person, because I take this brand very seriously. So I need to know, are you going to put your all in this brand the way I put my all in this brand? So, when I meet people, that's genuinely, they want to help this brand grow. Sure, I give them a location, and sure, you have to be financially stable, because it isn't cheap to open a Big Dave's, because the equipment, it do cost, but my dream is to one day have about 3 or 4 different models, have a model for the lower income to help the American dream. If you want to own a Big Dave's, own a business, I have something that's, financially, that's suitable for you. And just not to say I'm looking for the guys with the big money, because that ain't me. I'm looking for all the stragglers, all the people that want to get their life together, all the people because it's so many companies scared to take risks on people that want to start their life over. And I think that's how I got here, so how can I change on who I am because of where I got, that's how I got here. I started my life over. So
talk to us about how you bring on team members. What's kind of your hiring process?
From the workplace or the franchisees?
Workplace.
Okay, so for the workplaces, they go through a 3-stage hiring process, which you may be with one manager getting interviewed, and you'll come with another manager, and then we'll give our last interview, which you would be pretty much working a little bit, seeing what you got. Because nowadays, a lot of people just say what they want on a resume. They may tell you they can do this and do that. Big Dave's is different, because we ain't just looking for somebody that can just cook. We're looking for good people, genuine people who care about people, who actually want to come to work, who actually have a good, positive attitude. So when you don't fit the criteria of the family that we're trying to build, then yeah, it won't work. But I try my best to, even the ones that's hard to try to get hold to, because I know it's a little piece in them of pride that's stopping them from really crossing over to being the person they really want to be in life. So I go hard to try to help the younger kids, and the younger kids come and work for me, and I see that they're a little lost. I don't give up on them. I'm almost like a mentor to a lot of people, because I see that sometimes I think that a guy gives me the kind of power to see more out of you than you kind of think you're worth. So I don't take advantage of people. So when I see that, my whole management, other than my cousin, which is the CFO, Marcus, everybody has no college degree. Everybody walked in this business just helping me, and we learned it together. And now my general manager has the opportunity of running a franchise with no college degree, so
yep.
It's all about loyalty and dedication and hard work that you put out.
Yep. I love those values. I want to dive a little bit deeper back into to some of the actual products that you offer. I noticed that Big Dave's is right now Pepsi. How do you have a restaurant in the heart of Atlanta? And how many people come to you a day and say, where's the Coke product?
All right. So here's the thing, right? So when you're from up north and you straight Philly, Pepsi is what we drink. So honestly, I wanted to be all the way authentic. I wanted the people that was from up north to say, wow, I really feel like I'm in my city. I knew I was going to get some riprap on the whole it's Coke and Pepsi, but I really haven't took that big of a hit, with people complaining, because they have a stubborn soda. It's really good, so it's
the cherry cola is amazing.
Yeah, it's actually, I believe, it has less sugar. So it's a lot with the stubborn soda that's pretty good. So that helps us out a lot. But honestly, I think people just so hyped with the food that they just settle for the drink, because, and shout out to Pepsi, they gave me a deal. They still behind me nationally. So Coca-Cola didn't do that. So Pepsi
all right,
did.
well,
and I'm on a contract with them nationally. So it's good.
Well, we'll keep chipping away at that. A couple more questions to round out the interview, particularly around, you talk about, I thought that was a profound line around, you born and raised in Philadelphia, and there's a lot of people that are born and raised in, whether it's New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Chicago, New Orleans, and then they come to Atlanta, and Atlanta truly does make the individual? Because in Atlanta, you know, if you have a dream and you have hustle, you can really make it. Why did you decide Atlanta?
Okay, so my grandparents moved from Philadelphia in 1996 to retire. They was from South Georgia. They came back and moved to Athens. So I used to come down in the summertime and spend summers with them. So I got in some trouble when I got in ninth grade, and my father said, you can move in with your grandparents. You know, so I went to high school. I went to Clark Central. I started playing basketball. I started doing really good. And my life was going truly amazing. And then cancer just started wiping my family out. You know, I started, my aunt, you know, my dad, my uncle, my grandfather, all in the 10-year span. I lost all the people that raised me other than my grandmother and my mother. So I started to see that I had to be the rock. So I said, you know, when I got financially stable, I need to leave Philly because for me, I wasn't growing there. You know, I just was going backwards. And you know, my city, shout out to my city, but my city is somewhere where if you have a dream, it's hard to stay there and make a dream happen because it's just so much negativity sometimes, you know, and that's the thing that we got to shape. So when I decided to come this way, to come to Atlanta, it was the best decision I could have made because I feel like this is the biggest land of opportunity right now in America. You know, Atlanta right now, I think it has more African-American millionaires than anywhere in the United States right now. And for me, you know, me being African-American, and I don't make any excuses. That's what I tell people. We may have harder, but you still got a work ethic that can be anything. So I can get around the no. No's don't stop me. And once you realize how to get around the no, it won't never affect you. So when I came here and started seeing that the people, you know, they really stand behind you here, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Yep. Where I should have came, I belong. So I tell anybody, if you have a dream and you got a passion for what you do and you're a hard worker, Atlanta is somewhere that will give you a chance. But this one thing Atlanta won't do. Atlanta won't give you a second chance of you treating them wrong. You know, once you wrong them, you wrong them, you know. So I try to give people, you know, 100% real me. We all human. We all make mistakes. But when it comes to me being there for the people, I'll lose it all because I know that's what God really got us here for. We're supposed to be there for one another and stick together. So I know that. And once I figure that out, it's nothing to stop me. I already I got 1,000 restaurants because I know where I'm going.
And we always like to end and you touched on it, we always like to end the Atlanta Story podcast with, you know, why Atlanta, which was a great answer. And then, you know, what has Atlanta done for you?
It's amazing. I tell people Atlanta has literally changed me from, I would say, being because you can be an adult and not be a grown man or a grown woman because you may not be mature enough in the situation that you landed in. Atlanta will make you either get mature enough or go tuck yourself in a shell because you have to stand on your own here. And me, I have family here, but when I lost my father, I mean, that was the person I always leaned on. So I knew I had to stand on my own. So right now in my family, Big Dave's has the opportunity to change generational wealth. And I know that. So when I'm dead and gone, I can leave something for the next one's coming up to be able to look forward to. I walked into nothing. You see what I'm saying? You know, most of my family, we walk into nothing. So I want to be some type of foundation to say, okay, this is what the hard work came from. You got a little cousin or a nephew, you got a store that he can learn how to run. You know, it's an opportunity, you know, there if they want to get to working. Like right now, I have maybe about 20 cousins, maybe me and about 5 or 6 of them, we're together more than others. But right now I'm building this brand big enough that my whole family can have a job, you know?
Yep.
So it don't matter, you know, what I did or what happened before us is now. So I know now the ball is in my hand and I got to make this thing happen and I ain't dropping it. So.
Well, Derrick, I got to say, really appreciate your time. I'm a big believer in Big Dave's. I'm a big believer in you. And, you know, I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast, and I can't wait to go back to Big Dave's and it's
I
delicious.
We can tell our story together because it's crazy how we actually genuinely ran into each other when I was building this, and you giving me a podcast right now. It's amazing. I mean, it's God. You know, I tell people you got to believe in Him or believe in nothing else. So that's it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, and I look forward to publishing this. And there's so many good stories on here. So
thank you, man. I appreciate you so much, man. And when you come, I got you. No on me.
This podcast is brought to you by Atlanta Ventures. It was co-produced by JC Lucas and Jon Birdsong. If you are looking to start the next $300 million business in Atlanta, check out the studio at atlantaventures.com and the companies we work with who've done it before. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it at your next coffee meeting or dinner greeting, rate it, and write a benevolent, eloquent review.